Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my Endless Diary Tales channel? Thank you so much. My boyfriend suffered from depression. The monthly cost for medication and specialist consultations to treat him reached tens of thousands of yuan. To afford his treatment, I worked day and night, taking on commission paintings and delivery jobs to the point where my friends worried I would collapse and die from exhaustion. Then one day, I received a delivery order to a luxury villa in the elite district. A high-end Japanese meal worth 18,000 yuan. I respectfully handed the package to the customer. Looking up, I saw my boyfriend Ethan, the man who was supposedly in therapy, standing right at the door staring at me in shock. "Shouldn't you be at the hospital?" I questioned, my gaze fixed on the lavish villa decorated with exquisite taste. The hand holding the Japanese food box tightened until it ached. Despite the 40 degrees heat, I felt a chilling coldness that made my whole body tremble. Places like this I had only ever seen in idol dramas. "Lily, I can explain," Ethan stammered, flustered by my sudden appearance. He quickly grabbed my sleeve, a gesture he often used to apologize, which usually worked but not this time. I coldly shrugged off his hand, my eyes landing on the designer shirt he wore. I didn't recognize the brand, but ironically, it perfectly matched the air of a wealthy young master more than any other garment could. I lowered my eyes, opened my phone, and went to the Green City Hospital's appointment booking page. Dr. Liu's schedule for today was still open. I didn't even feel like exposing his lies. Taking a deep breath to calm myself, I asked sternly, "Ethan, are you happy?" Pretending to be a poor depressed teenager who can't even afford a milk tea. But in reality, you're a rich young master who spends 18,000 yuan on a single meal. My lips trembled, my eyes filled with resentment, staring intensely at the man before me. I didn't even realize my eyes had welled up with tears. "Did you really take me for such a fool to deceive me? 18,000 yuan? I have to do 6,000 deliveries, work for 2 months to earn that amount. And the most ridiculous thing is the delivery app interface still open on my phone shows the message I sent to you half an hour ago saying I would make lotus root and pork rib soup, your favorite, because the customer in this rich area was very generous and tipped me an extra 100 yuan. But I never imagined that tip was actually the money you rewarded me with." Ethan always held me close at night, whispering that in this world, the person he would never doubt loved him was me. He even said my love for him was purer than his parents' love. Those words once made me happy, made me feel lucky to love a sincere person in this fake world. But now looking back, I realized how stupid I had been. A fool for risking heat stroke in 40 degrees heat for just 500 yuan of market money, just to quickly gather enough money for your medication. How long has it been since I slept 5 hours straight? Even in my dreams, I hoped you would recover soon. You knew all of this clearly, right? My voice choked. The composure on Ethan's face finally cracked, his eyes tearing as he nodded slightly. In the cramped old apartment, half an hour's walk from the subway station, he saw my struggles, saw my penny pinching, saw my hardships. Yet I still tried to pay for this fake therapy experience just to treat the depression he pretended to have. From beginning to end, he just stood by like a cold creative god, observing everything. "I will transfer some money to your account as compensation. This is all my fault," Ethan said, lowering his head. His eyes filled with remorse mixed with helplessness as if he couldn't continue the act and decided to abruptly end it. I clenched the crumpled delivery receipt in my pocket, a list of luxury food items nearly half a meter long. Then I crumpled it into a ball and threw it at him with all my might. Ethan didn't dodge. His face was full of pain and regret. The air conditioning from inside the villa blew out a bit of coolness under the sound of cicadas not far away, followed by footsteps and a coquettish voice. "Ethan, why haven't you brought the food in yet?"
"I'm starving."
Ethan and I froze at the same time. His face changed slightly. We turned our heads together and saw a young girl in a lace nightgown walk out. Ethan panicked and quickly blocked her. "Why are you out here? I'll be right in. Go inside first." But the girl seemed determined to understand. She walked around him, smiling at me. In her almond-shaped eyes, there was a hint of familiarity mixed with disdain. "Who is this?" Seeing our silence, she smiled, then naturally linked arms with Ethan, pulling down the pink lace nightgown a little, revealing a red hickey on her neck, prominent under the thin fabric. Her whole body leaned softly against Ethan. He looked anxiously at me. I turned my head away in despair, gently closing my eyes. Sweat-soaked hair stuck to my face, temples throbbing with pain. Whatever had happened, no matter how slow I was to realize, I should understand now. I thought I was just an unlucky person in a rich person's experience game. But it turned out I was just a condiment in the love story of a young master and a young lady. Truly unlucky. So I didn't want to linger any longer. Turning around, I started packing up my delivery box, preparing to leave. But the girl suddenly called out to me. Wait a minute. Aren't you the poor girlfriend Ethan met outside school? You're wearing a delivery uniform, so I didn't recognize you, but you're Lily Jiang from the law department, right? I stopped, turned my head to look at her. After half a minute, I finally recognized her. She was Sophia Shin, a senior from a year above me. Beauty, family background, everything was superior. She was always praised like a queen at school. But there was a history of resentment between me and her because she had snatched the scholarship for needy students that was meant for me. I had never been like the others around her. Not flattering, not fawning upon Sophia. Seeing my gaze turn cold, Sophia tightened her grip on Ethan's arm. Ethan, really? Last year, I just casually complained to you that there was a younger student who liked to act high and mighty, putting on airs. You just asked a few more questions, and in the end you actually took action against Lily Jiang. This tactic even I have to admire. Truly masterful. Sophia chuckled lightly, glancing at me, and continued. So masterful that you could turn the top female student of our law school into a docile dog running around you. My hand by my side clenched into a fist. The cold air from the air conditioner blew over me, but couldn't soothe the anger burning in my chest. The future, love, money, the sweat and tears of an ordinary person like me were no different from roadside weeds to them. Not only did they not care, but they deliberately trampled on them, crushed them, uprooted them, and spat on them. Sophia gently kissed Ethan's cheek as if receiving a reward for successfully teasing me. Her eyes were full of provocation. Then, as if suddenly remembering something, her expression became strange, even a little manic. She asked me, Lily Jr., did Ethan ever tell you that he had depression? I frowned, not denying it. Sophia burst out laughing upon hearing this, laughing so hard she bent over. But her next words chilled me to the bone. That's because I once told Ethan that you had a younger brother who committed suicide due to depression. If Ethan pretended to be ill, you would definitely be foolish enough to fall for it. Sure enough, I guessed right. As soon as her words fell, the space suddenly froze. Only the shrill sound of cicadas remained. I felt like I was being burned by fire. I bit my lip, snatched the delivery helmet off my head, and furiously smashed it straight at Ethan. If I have to endure even this, then tomorrow I'll just open a bun shop. My chest heaving violently, I roared. Depression, right? Pretending to be poor, right? Like to poke at other people's wounds, right? Serves you right for being abandoned by your parents. Serves you right for watching your father beat your mother right in front of you. Why didn't he just conveniently beat you to death then? Today, I will beat you to death in place of your father. Throughout the year Ethan and I were together, whether it was acting or genuine, we had shared the deepest scars in our hearts. So I knew what he could never get over was the coldness and indifference of his parents from childhood. He had never experienced family love. And now that became the weapon for me to curse and attack him. Before he could react, I landed several more blows straight on his face. The rage made me pant, and after a whole day of working in the scorching heat, my head started to spin. The moment Sophia mentioned my younger brother, Liu Jiang, my rationality, which I had been barely holding on to all afternoon, completely collapsed. He was the only person I wouldn't allow anyone to touch. Even when Sophia pulled me away, Ethan didn't fight back once. He covered his bleeding mouth, blood flowing down his hand. Ethan, are you okay? I'll call the police right now. This crazy woman wants to die daring to touch you. I'll call my dad. Sophia yelled, both angry and panicked. But Ethan grabbed her hand and shook his head. Don't do that. It's all my fault. I owe her. He adjusted his messy hair after my beating, then stood up and stepped in front of me. From his pocket, he took out a gold card and handed it to me. The password is your birthday. I know this can't be salvaged anymore, but just let it be. I'm sorry. I chuckled softly, my gaze towards him now only cold and resentful. Drop dead. I snatched the card from his hand, left a last word. then turned and walked away. There was 770,000 yuan in the card. After getting back my wages from the delivery company, I immediately quit. The one-bedroom apartment, 23 square meters, could be seen in its entirety with just a glance. Ethan and I moved out of the dorm initially because he said his depression had shifted to physical symptoms and wanted me by his side every day. At first, I was still a bit wary of him, but when I realized he and my brother suffered from the same illness, I softened and also lost my rationality. I didn't know from when I couldn't distinguish whether I loved him or if it was just a sense of guilt towards Leo that I was trying to compensate for. I only knew that I frantically, obsessively wanted to cure Ethan, as if doing so would lighten the nightmare that had haunted me for so many years. A year together, we had accumulated quite a few things, but all the couple's items between us were an eyesore to me. So I threw them all into the trash can. The old air conditioner hummed. I stared at the ceiling, slowly falling asleep. For the first time in so many days of exhaustion, I dreamed of Leo again. He was lying in the bathtub, his body pale as a porcelain doll.
No warmth, no breath.
The medicine bottle rolled beside his fingers, his long eyelashes half closed. Just like before, every night he would wait for me to finish studying and then doze off. But this time he would never open his eyes again, never rub his sleepy eyes against me again, never ask me, "Sister, when are we going to sleep?" Before leaving, he deleted all messages with everyone, leaving only one sentence for me. "Sister, I'm sorry," along with 3,569.81 yuan, the last money in his account. That year, in the vibrant spring, the musical genius Liu Jiang left this world in the most beautiful season. While I was imprisoned forever in that spring, a rustling sound at the door woke me up. A man in a black shirt was stealthily rummaging through the trash. "Who's there?" The person froze, then slowly turned around. It was Ethan. He was still wearing a mask, his face covered in bandages. I reached out and rubbed my forehead, a dull pain reminding me he still had my apartment key. The things I had thrown in the trash in the afternoon, couple rings, cups, watches, souvenirs, had all been picked up by him and neatly arranged on the floor. "Why did you take them?" Ethan lowered his head, his voice sad. "I came to make a few more things to take away. All cheap stuff. Does a young master like you also value them?" I sat up casually, looking around to see if there was anything valuable to take. "Anyway, it's over. I decided to clean up and go back to the dorm, return this apartment." Ethan clutched the worthless silver ring, his thumb gently stroking it, his voice pleading. "Lily, I know you don't believe me, but I truly only trusted you. No one has ever loved me as much as you. I don't want to lose you." I chuckled lightly. The scene from the afternoon flashed back into my mind so long ago. "So you specially asked me to deliver late-night food for the two of you after you went to bed. Do you need me to thank you?" Ethan tightened his grip, silent for a few seconds, then quickly explained. "The thing with Sophia I can explain. There's nothing between her and me. I just casually agreed at the time. I was planning to break it off long ago because I realized the person I truly love is." I coldly interrupted, my gaze indifferent. The sound of water dripping in the bathroom tinkled. The faucet above the broken pillow was always dripping. To save a little on the water bill, I always used a bucket to catch it. The small change I had collected was insignificant, just like this love. It had come to this point. There was no sincerity worth caring about. Once the scam was exposed, whether it was true or false, a boundary that could never be crossed had existed between us. I stood up, walked to the door, signaling him to leave. Ethan looked at me, his eyes gradually reddening. "Don't pretend to be depressed anymore. People like you only make depression more stigmatized. People who are truly sick will have even more difficulty getting help. With one less person like you in this world, there will be one less Liu Jiang." He was stunned, speechless. After a long while, he nodded slightly. Before going out, Ethan took out a bag of pork ribs and lotus roots from behind the door. He saw the message I sent about dinner. "Can you cook me one last bowl of soup? No need for your family chef. Yours is better. I just like yours, Lily. Why can't you believe me one more time? Give me one more chance." His voice choked up slightly. I didn't expect a person who had returned to his identity as a young master of a wealthy family to be able to bow his head and beg me like this. But whether it was true or false, I remained unmoved. He realized I was refusing. Finally, as he was about to step out the door, he stopped, his red eyes staring intently at me. "Do you still love me?" "No, not anymore." "Can you love me one more time?" "No, I can't." After Ethan left, I started packing. I planned to return to the dorm next week, return this apartment. Packing until midnight, I slumped onto the chair, my gaze aimlessly landing on a tin box in the corner of the closet. The box had a lock. Inside were my younger brother Leo's belongings. Leo and I were fraternal twins, but after our parents divorced, each had their own family. We were like a costly mistake of youth. No one wanted to take responsibility. No one wanted to look back. From middle school, we could only live on a meager allowance, relying on each other. Thinking of this, my heart ached. My hand tightened around a small jewelry box. This was a birthday gift Leo gave me that year. A 6-pointed star necklace sparkling with diamonds. That day he smiled brightly, personally putting it on my neck. "Sister, this is a gift I bought myself with my own money. Do you like it? It looks beautiful on you, more beautiful than a model. It's not very expensive, but later I will try my best, so you can wear all the most beautiful jewels in the world." His eyes were clear and bright. I smiled, reached out, and poked his dimple, nodding gently. "Leo Jang, I believe you, so I'm still waiting." I felt a hard object under the foam lining of the jewelry box. Picking it up to look, it was a key. I was startled. This necklace Leo gave me was from 2 years ago, but at that time there was no key inside. Perhaps he had secretly put it in later. Holding the key in my hand, I hesitated for a few seconds, then turned to look at the old peeling paint box in the corner of the room. The key clicked and the box opened. Inside there were only 4 things. An oil painting full of withered sunflowers, a music CD of bomb music, the band Leo loved most, a diary, and a small piece of paper with an account and password. I stared at the black-covered diary, picked it up, placed it on my lap, and flipped through it page by page from the beginning. Initially, it was just fragmented notes about daily life and even the times he was confessed to by female students at school. It was understandable. Leo was handsome, tall, with fair skin, and his almond-shaped eyes had a detached arrogance that captivated many. From a young age, I had received countless love letters and snacks for him. But perhaps like me, he had also been abandoned since childhood. No matter how much admiration he received, he was still always sensitive, always lonely. Perhaps that was why he liked to keep a diary. I continued to flip through. Then my finger suddenly paused because I saw a familiar name. Sophia Shan. And the further back I flipped, the more frequently this name appeared. Actually, I had anticipated that when I returned to school, I wouldn't have a good outcome. After all, I had hit Ethan. Sophia definitely wouldn't let it go easily. It was just that I didn't expect her revenge to come so quickly. I stared at my bed space piled with food boxes and trash from delivery orders. Even under the desk, it was painted red with vulgar curses like, "slut." Beside me, Daisy Yong, a classmate who had a decent relationship with me, stood there looking a little embarrassed. I tried to stop the senior girls, but it was useless. They said you offended someone you shouldn't have. Daisy took the trash bag from my hand, her voice a little apologetic. I gave a comforting smile, continuing to clean up my sleeping space. "Oh right, Lily, have you seen the school forum? Saying you're the third party who interfered in Sophia and Ethan's relationship. Now that topic has hundreds of comments. I saw the photos and evidence inside. Quite convincing. Is this stuff true?" I paused, frowned, and took her phone, quickly browsing through the content. Most of it was photos of me and Ethan walking around school, along with screenshots of text messages between Sophia and Ethan from summer vacation of freshman year. But they had never publicly announced their relationship. I smiled faintly. It's just them wanting to discredit me. So they deliberately fabricated a story at this time, saying they were originally a couple, then gave me the title of interloper, making outsiders feel the timeline of everything coincided to defame me. I didn't answer Daisy's question, just thought for a moment, then took out my phone and called Sophia. 3 rings. The other side answered. I went straight to the point.
I'm Lily Jan.
3 p.m. this afternoon. Meet at the Northgate Cafe. The other end was immediately silent. The sound of laughter and chatter ceased. Then Sophia scoffed. "Oh, I thought who it was. Turned out to be the top female student, Lily Jiang. Regretting it and wanting to apologize? Too late now. I'm not free to meet with a girl who has a mother who gave birth to her but no mother to teach her manners. It's about Liu Jiang. Before Sophia could continue to spout vulgarities, I interrupted. She suddenly fell silent. After a few seconds, her voice rang out. Okay, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. The sunlight, although not as harsh as midday, was still sultry. I gently stirred my latte, taking a small sip, my mind browsing through every word about Sophia in Leo's diary. Just then, the wind chimes at the cafe door rang. The sound of high heels stopped right in front of me. Sophia, wearing a white and blue chamisole dress. This was the first time I looked directly at her face. Big round lovely eyes, but deep within her gaze there was a hidden venomousness that didn't match her appearance. I lowered my eyes, feeling disgusted. She put her designer handbag down, sat opposite me, and opened her mouth to ask, "What's the matter about Liu Jiang?" Without beating around the bush, I went straight to the point. "You once liked Liu Jiang, right?" Her hand flipping through the menu froze. Then her fingers, with light purple nail polish, gripped the edge of the paper tightly. A fleeting pain flashed in her eyes, but in just 2 seconds, her expression returned to normal. "Who told you that?" "Me? Liking that poor guy? How ridiculous." Her voice was still arrogant as before, but the corner of her lips twitched slightly. "Your name appears dozens of times in Liu Jiang's diary. He wrote that you confessed to him 27 times. I put down the tea-stirring spoon, looking at her with an irrefutable gaze. The aroma of coffee wafted in the air. The cafe owner was still busy in the kitchen. Sophia's expression tightened. She opened her mouth to say something, but in the end still didn't refute it. She propped her hand on her forehead, lowered her eyes, avoiding my gaze. Her avoidance made me feel even more disgusted. I took out the painting, Leo's keepsake, and placed it on the table. It was the withered sunflower painting he had drawn. Then why?
I stared at her intensely.
If you liked Leo, why did you plagiarize his painting? Why did you hack the competition system to steal his participation spot? Do you know how important this competition was to him? He always loved painting and singing the most. 10 days after Leo's sunflower painting was lost, plagiarized by you, he committed suicide. And the person who plagiarized his painting was you, Sophia Sean. Sophia turned her head to look at the painting in the frame. Her eyes suddenly filled with resentment. Even after he died, she still wouldn't let go of his family. Sophia, what kind of love is yours? Her chest heaved violently, her emotions seemingly on the verge of losing control. What do you understand? You're just a useless older sister. How much do you understand Leo? Based on what? Do you question my feelings for him? Yes, I liked him. This is the first time in my life I like someone like that. Anything I could give him, I would. Which album of B music did he like? I bought 10. Didn't know which brand of shoes he liked? I bought them all and gave them to him. I was willing to lower myself for him. She sobbed, her throat, her whole body slumped into the chair, her eyes desperately looking at me, tears streaming down her face. But I didn't feel any sympathy. On the contrary, my hatred grew stronger in my heart. I gritted my teeth and asked, "Then why steal his opportunity? Do you know that 10 days after the competition, Leo left this world? Do you know how deep his wrist was cut? How desperate he was? Sophia, aren't you one of the murderers?" Overwhelmed by agitation, my breathing became disordered. Those nightmarish scenes rushed back into my mind. Sophia faced my questioning, her lips trembling but unable to utter a word. Her eyes were full of panic, her whole body trembling. She pulled out a women's cigarette from her handbag, intending to light it, but was stopped by the cafe staff. In the end, she could only crush the cigarette in her hand. Her voice, when she opened her mouth, was shaky. That weekend, he went to participate in a commercial performance that I introduced. But when he came back, Liu Jiang became a different person. I asked him how the performance went, and in return I got a look that wanted to kill me. He said I was the most disgusting thing in this world. A filthy, dirty woman. The day he pointed his finger at me, cursing me, to this day I just need to close my eyes and I can still remember every detail. I almost suffocated from despair. I didn't know what happened. I only heard my dad say that the performance had a star agent participating, a rare opportunity. So I secretly told Liu Jiang. But after he finished the performance, he turned around and pushed me away like a death sentence. I also have my self-respect. If he didn't love me, I could accept it. But why insult me to this extent? I gave up on liking him. I even wanted revenge. Her voice choked, unable to continue. But everyone understood that love unrequited easily breeds hatred. Just like Sophia just said, a person spoiled from childhood wanting everything. When they can't get something, they will destroy it. So she hated Liu Jiang. Even after he died, that hatred still hadn't stopped but spread to me. She stole my scholarship and instigated Ethan to play with me. All just prolongations of that hatred. I narrowed my eyes, my voice sinking. Why do you know about me and Liu Jiang? He valued you very much. You were the older sister he looked up to. Besides, good news. He never wanted to tell you anything else, afraid you would worry. Actually, I'm very jealous of you for being valued by him to such an extent. At the bottom of the coffee cup, the ice cubes were melting, a little latte spilling over the rim of the cup. I clenched my fist, feeling the calluses on my fingertips rub against my palm. Memories of Liu Jiang's neat handwriting in his diary flashed through my mind again. I have read the diary he left behind. My voice rang out. Sophia looked at me, her eyes dimming, her voice asking, "So he always hated me? Or did he ever have any feelings for me?" I can't answer for him. As soon as the words fell, I could see the light gradually fading from Sophia's eyes. Even resentment was fading. In the diary, on the page where Liu Jiang cursed her, he also mentioned that commercial performance. But after that event, his diary style completely changed. The diary entries full of emotions of joy and sorrow before suddenly disappeared, replaced by only 4 words repeated repeatedly. Shinran, damn it. The brush strokes were strong, as if wanting to tear through the page. Every stroke seemed to grind the cursed person into dust. It was hatred that could not be expressed in words. But he didn't write any other details. I looked towards Sophia, who had now become lost and dazed, and asked, "I'll ask you one last question. Shinran is your father, right? A member of the school board?" Sophia seemed to wake up from her trance. Hearing this seemingly unrelated question, she was a little puzzled but still nodded. "Yes, that's my dad." The popularity of the post on the school forum was still rising. On the way back to the dorm, quite a few people passing by pointed and gossiped, but I was still thinking about Liu Jiang's affairs to the point that someone deliberately bumped into me and I didn't even react. A shadow stood in front of me. "Walk. Can't you see?" I tilted my head. It was Ethan. He was wearing a baseball cap, facing the person who had just bumped into me and scolding them. This shout made quite a few people stop. Even someone raised their phone to take pictures directly at us. This adulterous couple still dared to walk together. Truly shameless. I ignored the gossip around me, frowned, and looked at Ethan. "Why are you here?" He lowered his eyes full of worry, and replied in a low voice, "I have posted a clarification saying you didn't know anything at all, but I'm still worried someone will do what just happened. Deliberately attack you." I rubbed my slightly sore shoulder and glared at him. "Did you even think about who caused all of this, Ethan, these past few days?" Before the question could be finished, a small stone suddenly flew from somewhere straight towards me. Ethan reacted a step faster than me, immediately stepping forward to shield me. I turned my head to look in the direction the stone was thrown from. A male student in a denim jacket quickly blended into the crowd, disappearing without a trace. Although Ethan reacted in time, the stone still grazed his cheek, leaving a bloody scratch. He painfully covered the wound, the corner of his mouth slightly twitching upwards, his eyes secretly glancing at me as if waiting for me to comfort him. I sighed softly. "Ethan, no need to do these meaningless things anymore. There's no possibility between us anymore. No matter what you do, I won't turn back." His eyes, which still held a glimmer of hope, immediately dimmed completely, but seemingly trying to comfort himself, he murmured, "I won't give up." "What are you persisting in?" I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand why a person who had once exploited my feelings could be so tormented by his mistakes, instead of going to find a new target. I have never been so miserable and regretful. I myself don't understand clearly what this feeling is. I only know that I both love you and feel guilty towards you. So as long as I can see you or do something for you, I will feel a little better," Ethan said frankly. Only at this moment did the silver ring on his left middle finger reflect a cheap light under the streetlights. Just like our year-long relationship, flawed and worthless. The post accusing me of being a third party on the school forum was deleted in the middle of the night. The curses that had once flooded the forum were now all cleared away. From then on, I was no longer targeted by Sophia. Life gradually returned to normal. Only Ethan still harassed me every day, making me uncomfortable. Another sleepless night, I logged into the account Leo Zhang left behind. It was his account on a painting platform with over 300,000 followers, in this field considered to have some reputation. His ID was Winter Cicada. From a young age, Leo Zhang had shown amazing talent in painting and music. Although our economic situation was a bit tight, I couldn't give him the best education, but he could still shine to the best of his ability. I casually browsed through the old posts. The initial paintings were mostly fluffy little animals and natural landscapes. But it was from that time, after Leo Zhang participated in the commercial performance in the second semester of freshman year, that his painting style completely changed. The cute animals transformed into dark, gloomy, sinking, tearing giants. Actually recalling everything from that period, it happened too quickly. From when I discovered he started taking antidepressants to when he left, it was less than 2 months. During that time he was irritable, easily losing control and moody. I wanted to care for him many times but was coldly pushed away by him. At that time I was both confused and helpless, only able to indulge him. Later, Leo Zhang's decisive departure made me desperate and bewildered, craving a reasonable explanation. But time and time again, everyone said that suicide due to depression was the answer. Did you know Leo Zhang of the Art Academy? I heard he committed suicide due to depression. Really?
Impossible.
How can it be impossible? Recently, the school has even been continuously opening psychological health seminars just because of this matter. This was a conversation between 2 female students I accidentally overheard on the way back to the dorm right after finishing Leo Zhang's funeral arrangements. Faced with that cruel truth, I began to numb and also began to gradually accept it. I believed in this reason, no longer struggling to find other possibilities. But now Leo Zhang's belongings tore open another crack in that truth. I returned to reality. The sound of my roommate's breathing, sometimes deep, sometimes shallow. My hand froze on the mouse, then clicked on Leo Zhang's account's message box. Most were messages urging him to post new content from fans. In the early days after he stopped updating, there were still many people messaging every day, but he had been gone for 2 years. Recently, almost no one remembered Winter Cicada anymore until I discovered an account profile picture, a winter scene ID key. This account had persistently messaged for 2 years since Leo Zhang left, with expressions of love, painful confessions, and regrets. From the message content, I realized she was also a student at a university, and the most recent message was, "Leo Zhang, I'm sorry. I know the truth, but I can't help you get revenge." Just as I read this, the profile picture, which was originally off, suddenly lit up. She was online. I immediately messaged her. "I am Leo Zhang's older sister, Lily Zhang. Can we meet?" Only a few seconds later, the other party replied, "Yes." She arranged to meet me on the lawn of the stadium in the evening. Chloe Jo, wearing a black dress, as soon as she saw me, her dim eyes suddenly lit up. She recognized me immediately, and I also recognized her. There was no mistake about that mole between her eyebrows. The person in front of me was Leo Zhang's high school class monitor. I remembered that year she had once asked me to help pass him a handwritten copy of a guitar score. It was Leo Zhang's favorite English song, "Tears in Heaven." I remembered it very clearly because that time when Leo Zhang received this gift, his eyes lit up. He liked this gift the most. Chloe Jo sat down on the grass beside me, her eyes gazing towards the freshmen who were gathered around, singing and shouting. The corner of her lips smiled faintly. Before, I used to sit here and watch Leo Zhang sing. At that time, the people surrounding him were even more crowded than now. I had to turn 360 degrees to find an angle to see his profile. A hint of nostalgia appeared in her eyes, her voice low and gentle, as if time had reversed back to 2 years ago when Leo Zhang sat in the center of the stadium, hugging his guitar, singing love songs he composed. But the surrounding noise grew louder and louder. Chloe Jo's eyes also gradually dimmed. She smiled bitterly, looked at me, her voice choking. "I regret it so much, sister. I had a crush on Liujang for 6 whole years. I followed him to a university, but until he left, I still didn't get to officially confess. If only he knew there was one more person in this world who loved him, would he have been less inclined to leave? Chloe Jo choked up. She looked at me with eyes full of regret. I reached out and gently patted her shoulder, wanting to comfort her, but I realized she was frighteningly thin, almost skin and bones. Chloe Jo looked towards the crowd of freshmen singing again, but her eyes at this moment seemed to remember something, becoming sober and cold. Do you know Principal Shinran? I was startled, frowned, and nodded slightly. It was him who killed Liujang. Liujang's commercial performance in freshman year. I went there in person. When it ended, I originally intended to run over and confess to him, but I saw him and the band members get into Shinran's car. It was him who deceived Liujang, saying an entertainment company wanted to sign a contract with the whole band, saying they were holding a small party to meet the representative. But then Chloe Jo's voice trembled, the night wind blowing through, making her skirt flutter slightly. I could feel her whole body shaking. She clenched her hands tightly, tears falling drop by drop. After Liujang died, I secretly investigated Shinran. I always had a hunch that his death was related to him. I found out he often went to the Jade restaurant in school with the school board to eat. I immediately went there to work as a waitress for 2 years. 2 whole years. Finally, I waited until the day he got drunk and revealed a slip-up. She lowered her head and rummaged in her handbag. Because of the excessive movement, a bottle of medicine fell out of her bag. I was slightly stunned, clearly seeing the medicine bottle. My nose stung. I immediately recognized what this medicine was used to treat. Liujang had taken it. I had also bought it for Ethan. Chloe Jo's thin hand trembled, opened her phone and handed me a pair of earphones. A recording was played. Initially, it was noisy laughter and chatter, a few men flattering each other. Then a low male voice spoke. This time the one brought over, the taste is nothing special. President Chin is still picky, huh? I think that kid is okay. Yet he still didn't catch your eye. Far from it, far from it. Seriously, the one I've liked the most all along is that band leader kid from before. I've had my eye on him for a long time. From the freshman welcome ceremony, I already targeted him. Afterwards, I deceived him, saying Phoning Entertainment would sign a contract with his band. That's how he agreed to come to the party, got drunk, and went to bed with me. But his skin is tender and soft. Very worthwhile. Which one? Which one are you talking about? It's the one who committed suicide later. What's his name? Liujang. Oh my God, he really committed suicide. I was shocked. I hurriedly asked the school to organize a few psychological seminars right away. Truly unbearable. If not, maybe I could also bring him to my brothers to play with. Amidst the noise of the restaurant, faint crackling sounds came from the earphones until I bit my lips so hard that blood oozed out in my mouth. I barely managed to pull myself back to reality. My chest heaved violently. My mind felt like it was lacking oxygen, making me unable to utter a word. I trembled, pulled a plastic bag from my handbag, covering my mouth and nose. That day when Liujang committed suicide on the way to the hospital, I had also fallen into this uncontrolled state. The doctor said it was hyperventilation syndrome. In emergency situations, a plastic bag could be used for first aid. I had remembered that Chloe Jo realized my condition was unstable. She hurriedly put away her phone, knelt beside me anxiously, surrounding me. In the process of me gradually regaining consciousness, I finally pieced together the whole truth about Liujang. The drastic changes in his diary and paintings, the anger towards Sophia, the sudden depression, and the decision to give up his life all had answers now. Seeing me gradually recover, Chloe Jo finally couldn't hold back anymore. She hugged my neck tightly, bursting into tears. Sister, but what to do? Even if we have this recording, we can't fight Shinran. He has power, has status in Green City. We are basically useless. That year, Liujang must have been just as desperate. Do ordinary people facing someone standing at the top of the pyramid even have a chance to win? Can they only choose to swallow everything? I looked up at the sky. Dark clouds gradually obscured the moonlight. Lowering my gaze, I wiped away Chloe's tears, giving an encouraging smile. You've worked very hard these past years. On Liujang's behalf, I thank you. Thank you for loving him for so many years. That night passed. I started to run a high fever continuously, between dreamlike trances, nightmares and reality intertwined. Finally, after finishing an important specialized course exam, I fainted right in front of the classroom door and was taken to the hospital. I woke up from a dream, seeing Liu Jiang crying, tears mixed with blood, questioning me. Why did you abandon me at home alone? The recurring dreams, the same details unchanging, experienced under dim yellow lights. My head ached like it was splitting. I opened my stinging eyes. Before me was a figure sitting by the bed. He was wearing a white and blue shirt, his eyes intently fixed on me. When he confirmed I had woken up, his eyes suddenly brightened. Ethan poured a glass of hot water on the table and helped me sit up. My throat was parched. I drank the glass of water in just a few gulps. The doctor said you caught a virus. Why don't you pay attention to taking care of your health? He asked, but I didn't answer. What exactly happened to you? I looked up at the ceiling, still not answering, just indifferent, letting it be. For the entire month that followed, Ethan stayed by my side day and night, taking care of me meticulously. Initially, he still tried to probe a few questions, but my continuous silence made him give up on communication. The night before I was discharged from the hospital, I looked at Ethan, who was carefully peeling an apple, lost in thought. The moonlight that night was bright and full. In the ward, an old love movie was playing about a couple dying for each other. Amidst the heartbreaking cries of the actors, I asked softly, "Do you truly like me?" He looked up at me, his eyes lighting up, nodding without hesitation. Like very much. Hearing this, I tightened my grip on the six-pointed star necklace on my neck. If you truly like me, then I want to kill someone. Can you help me? Ethan used his family's connections. Taking advantage of the fact that the Lin family recently intended to open a new education brand, they invited Shinran to a family dinner. The Lin and Shin families had been close friends for a long time, so Shinran was not at all wary. Half an hour after the agreed time, a black car stopped in front of the abandoned warehouse where I was waiting. Ethan dragged the unconscious Shinran out of the car and threw him to the ground. "The rest you don't need to worry about," I said. Cutting off all relations indifferently, I added, "Thank you." He looked at me, wanting to say something. His eyes pained, as if still unable to accept my choice. "Lily Jiang, your brother is already dead. Why can't you let go of the past? Start over. What you're doing is wrong. Stop talking." I interrupted. "This is the only right way, isn't it? He killed my brother. Killing someone to pay for a life is only natural. And besides being a sister, I also have an obsession. From childhood to adulthood, I have always stood in front to protect Liu Jiang, helping him drive away older students who bullied him, chasing away spiders and snakes he was afraid of, drying his tears when he missed our parents. So he always said I was a super sister, the bravest person in the world. This time I know the truth. I also shouldn't be afraid in front of him, right? Isn't this the way it should be?" I tied Shinran to a chair, stripped off his clothes, took his phone, lifted his finger, and unlocked it with his fingerprint. The purpose was very clear. At the bottom of the photo library was a hidden album. I opened it, and as expected, it was a huge number of videos. For a person like Shinran, this was not surprising. I scrolled down, finally finding the video from late spring 2 years ago. Preliminary confirmation. I closed my eyes emotionlessly, picked up the water bottle beside me, and poured it directly onto Shinran. He coughed violently, his cloudy eyes full of panic. When he saw me, suspicion appeared in his eyes. "Who are you?" I didn't answer. Shinran looked around, trying to maintain composure, and continued to probe. "Do we have any grudges? Do you still remember Liu Jiang?" Hearing that name, Shinran's eyebrows furrowed tightly, his shoulders twitching, clearly trying to struggle free from the restraints, but in vain. I had tied him so tightly that my palms were bleeding. "Don't remember? Sure, there must be some misunderstanding. I am his sister. You don't need to be nervous. I just want to ask a few questions." At this point, having realized who I was and being unable to break free, he finally couldn't hide his panic anymore. His body trembled in waves. Knowing pretending was useless, he clearly understood what kind of grudge this was. Shinran lowered his head, repeatedly nodding and begging. Even sweat was spurting out. "I'm sorry about your brother's matter. It was because I was drunk and lost my mind. Do you want compensation money or want me to plead guilty? I agreed to everything. Just please spare my life. Everything can be negotiated. I coldly looked at him, picked up the prepared knife on the table. Seeing I didn't react to his bribery, he started to threaten. Think carefully. If you do anything rash, you yourself will have to bear legal responsibility. Moreover, I just need to lift a finger. Even if you die in Green City, no one will know. I scoffed. The hand holding the knife paused slightly but still ignored him. I only thought of the video I had just watched and asked, besides this phone, are there any other backups of those videos? Shin Rang's eyes dimmed, obviously immediately understanding what I was talking about. His fat face trembled, sweat flowing more and more. He trembled and replied, "No more." Seeing this, I raised my hand without any hesitation, slashing hard at his right hand. Ah! At that moment, Shin Rang's painful roar echoed throughout the warehouse. Tell the truth. Don't waste time. I lowered my head, looking at him emotionlessly. Blood sprayed onto the floor. Seeing he still refused to confess, I raised the knife again, aiming at his left hand. On the second floor of my house, third room on the left of the staircase, second drawer of the bookcase. The key is the smallest one in that bunch. I tilted my head, looking at the bunch of keys on the floor while considering the credibility of his words, confirming that he wasn't lying. I nodded, continuing to raise the knife. Seeing this, he panicked, retreating in the chair. Didn't you say you only needed an answer to a question? The fear of death made his voice tremble. But these are also my last words in this life. I frowned. Just what? Hurry up and speak softly. Maybe I'll show mercy a little. Everything has been dealt with cleanly. It was already 3 a.m. I turned off my phone, pensively thinking about the remaining time before I turned myself in. There were some things I needed to arrange. I found a cheap place and hastily showered. Afterwards, I arranged to meet Chloe Jo. When she saw me, she was still full of worry. Sister, you must pay attention to your health. Even if we can't avenge Liu Jiang, we can't just live muddle-headed like this. If he sees you like this, he won't be happy. I nodded, smoothing my messy hair. I didn't intend to tell Chloe Jo about last night's events. Just let her believe that heaven had eyes. I took out the bank card Ethan had given me from my pocket. I had transferred all my money into it, totaling enough 800,000 yuan. Take this card. Chloe Jo hurriedly refused, but I shook my head. Chloe Jo, you're one of the few people who have truly treated us sisters well. Leo and I have not received much kindness from others since childhood, so maybe our way of reciprocating is a bit clumsy. When we were young, our parents once said they should have drowned Leo and me right in the toilet bowl. At that time, after hearing it, I only felt scared. But recently, I thought maybe a child that even parents don't want to be born into this world shouldn't exist in this world. No, Chloe Jo. Hearing this, she gripped my hand tightly, the force so strong that my wrist flushed red. Sister, don't think nonsense. Meeting you and Liu Jiang is the luckiest thing in my life. No one should not exist in this world, especially you two. I was stunned, looking into her firm eyes, the corner of my lips slightly twitching upwards, but in my heart, I felt she was telling a well-intentioned lie. Chloe Jo was still skin and bones, her clothes so loose that they didn't hug her body. If she hadn't met us, maybe she would have had a brighter life. The sound of cicadas at the end of summer gradually thinned out. I reached out and gently brushed away the stray hair on her forehead. Chloe Jo, when this summer passes, let's start a new life. Okay? Forget about me and Liu Jiang. After meeting Chloe Jo, I went to find Sophia Shun. She was absent-mindedly stirring the ice cubes in her latte. Maybe because her father had suddenly disappeared last night. When I flipped through Shin Rang's phone, I had seen a call from her. I had declined it. Sophia Shin's mother had passed away early. She was raised by her father. The relationship between them must be deeper than ordinary people. I didn't say much to Sophia Shin. No matter what the reason, Sophia and I were enemies. The fact that she plagiarized Liu Jiang's painting was an undeniable truth. Therefore, I only handed her an old phone and the key found in Shin Rang's study. All the other keys had been destroyed by me. In the phone was Shin Rang's confession recording when he was drunk, admitting to sexually assaulting Liu Jiang at the Jade restaurant. In addition, there was also a video in Shin Rang's phone, along with information about where the backup copy of the video was stored. Besides that, there were also diary pages, photos, and records from the time before when Liu Jiang still considered Sophia a friend. She seemed doubtful about why I would give her this phone. I lowered my head and smiled faintly. The password is Liu Jiang's birthday. You still remember it, right? Sophia Shin nodded. It seemed what she had said before wasn't completely false. Even now, she still remembered Liu Jiang's birthday. Sophia Shin in Liu Jiang's belongings, there are only 4 things. Among them is the bomb music album you gave him. When you see what's in the phone, you will understand all the truth. Before leaving, he still considered you a pretty good friend. Under my prompting, a flicker of mania mixed with hope flashed in Sophia Shan's eyes. She immediately opened the phone to look at it. I didn't stop her, nor did I linger. I planned to find a place to sleep for a while. After waking up, I would go to the police station to turn myself in. This sleep was particularly peaceful. When I woke up, I didn't know how much time had passed. Opening my phone, the strong light stimulation made me squint. When I adjusted, I discovered a new piece of news pushed to the top of the page. Industrial zone in the north of Green City. A shocking dismemberment case. Extremely cruel methods. Seeing this news, I didn't feel any of the fear of a mastermind. I just calmly scrolled through the content, confirming the identity of the victim was Shin Rang, chairman of Shin Group, principal of a university. The perpetrator was still at large. Below the article, the comments were heatedly disgusting. My friend who works in the police station said, he was cut into 67 pieces. Some parts were directly. This is probably the most brutal case in recent years. How deep is the hatred to do such a thing? I lowered my head and scrolled through the screen, still without any emotion. In less than a minute, I put down my phone, preparing to go to the police station. Just then, a new news alert popped up. Perpetrator of dismemberment case has turned himself in. My finger froze. My eyebrows furrowed tightly. What's going on? I clicked on the article, discovering the content only mentioned that the perpetrator had turned himself in but didn't mention the name. The people who knew about this were only Ethan and myself. Could it be him? A chill suddenly ran down my spine. The phone in my hand suddenly vibrated. I lowered my head to look. It was Daisy Yang, my roommate. Lily, where are you? Ethan asked me to deliver something to you. Can you come get it? I took a deep breath, adjusted my emotions, silent for a moment, then softly replied, okay. The thing Ethan left for me was a bank card and a note. Lily, you should go abroad to live for 2 years. Let me bear this matter. Anyway, with my family's connections, the sentence will be greatly reduced. At most it will be 10 years. My dad doesn't love me, but he is afraid of losing face. He will handle it properly. You can rest assured. Consider everything as me paying off all my debts to you. Don't turn yourself in. Live well. I didn't know how to feel, only hearing the buzzing of cicadas in my head, sometimes near, sometimes far. The corner of the note was crumpled by my tight grip. When I gradually calmed down, I put the bank card into my pocket, adjusted my emotions, then said, thank you to Daisy Yang. Stepping out of the school gate, I hailed a taxi. The driver asked me where to go. To the police station in the industrial zone north. Where to? Sorry, then to the memorial park. That night, I stayed by Liu Jiang's grave all night. The next morning, I left the country. In the years abroad, I only focused on one thing: updating Liu Jiang's painting account. Fortunately, before, I also took on commission paintings. My technique, although not as good as his talent, but 5 years passed, I also accumulated a certain number of fans. This year, I decided to return to the country, return to Green City. Chloe Zhou brought a bouquet of lilies to pick me up. Now she had become a top manager in the entertainment industry. When sitting opposite each other, her eyes immediately welled up with tears. Sister, I didn't expect to be able to see you again. Thank you. Thank you for everything you've done. Her voice choked, sobbing for half a minute, then continued to tell me that after Shin Rang died, her depression seemed to be completely cured. She was no longer trapped in the past or immersed in regret. Hearing this, I smiled faintly as usual, gently patted her shoulder. Very good. Finally gained a little weight. At this time, Chloe Zhou seemed to remember something. She lowered her head and took out a card from her pocket. Sister, here is 140,000 yuan, my salary over the years. plus the 800,000 yuan you gave me. I have saved it all. Please don't refuse. You must accept it. I didn't take it. Seeing this, Chloe Zhou still stubbornly placed the card in front of me. Then she continued to tell me about what had happened over the years. She said that after Ethan turned himself in, he had received forgiveness from the victim's family, which was Sophia Shin. Afterwards, the Lin family hired the best lawyers and at the same time presented a bipolar disorder diagnosis from the hospital from before. Under these conditions, Ethan was sentenced to 10 years in prison. As for Sophia Shin, I don't know why, but only a few months after her father's death, she went crazy. Now she is still in a mental hospital. Only every year at Chaming Festival, she will come to the memorial park to sweep his grave. Hearing this, I nodded softly. These people were now both strange and familiar, like people I only met in a previous life. I didn't want to remember anymore. Finally, Chloe Zhou looked at me, her eyes dim, her hands clasped tightly together. Sister, do you still love Ethan? No. Why? Because the person I met when I was young was too dazzling. Late at night, the night wind blew. I opened his account, loading a winter landscape painting that Liu Jiang had drawn when he was alive. Under the painting I wrote a line.